Think about the last time you were on a long drive. You are watching the road ahead and you see a car in the distance. It looks tiny, a small speck on the horizon. As you drive, the gap between you closes. The car gets bigger, the details become clearer. That car isn't getting larger. You are simply moving through the space that separated you. Your motion relative to the car is what causes that change in perception. This is the most intuitive understanding we have of movement. Things move because forces act upon them, pushing them through the arena of space. Now, I want you to erase that entire picture from your mind. Forget everything you know about motion. Let's look up away from the highway, away from Earth. Let's look at the universe. In the 1920s, an astronomer named Edwin Hubble was looking at distant galaxies through the most powerful telescope of his time. He was trying to figure out how fast these faint, cloudy spirals of light were moving. And he found something so strange, so profound, that it shattered our most basic intuition about motion forever. He noticed that the light coming from these distant galaxies was stretched. It was shifted toward the red end of the spectrum, a phenomenon we call red shift. On Earth, we know this effect well. When an ambulance races past you, the pitch of its siren drops as it moves away. The sound waves get stretched. Light does the same thing. If a light source is moving away from you, its light waves get stretched, shifting them toward the red. Hubble saw this red shift, and the logical conclusion was that these galaxies were moving away from us. But here is where it gets weird. He looked at a galaxy that was further away. Its light was even more stretched. It was moving away faster. He looked at another one, even more distant, and it was receding even faster. It wasn't random. It was a pattern. The further away a galaxy was, the faster it was moving away from us. It was as if we were at the center of some cosmic explosion, the center of the universe. At first glance, that is a very humbling and terrifying thought. We are the center of it all. Everything is fleeing from us. But wait, stop. Let's use that logical questioning mind that we all have. If everything is moving away from us, then we must be the unloved, repulsive center of the cosmos. But that doesn't feel right. It feels too convenient, too special. It puts us back in that pre-Copernican mindset where everything revolves around the Earth. And if you are a good scientist, a good thinker, you immediately become suspicious of any idea that puts you in a privileged position. The universe shouldn't care about us. So, what is really going on? Let's perform a simple thought experiment. The kind Richard Feynman loved. Imagine you are a microscopic organism living on the surface of a rising loaf of raisin bread. You live inside one of the raisins. This is your galaxy. The dough around you is space. As the bread bakes, the yeast does its work. The dough expands. It swells. Now you, the raisin dweller, look out at the other raisins in the dough. What do you see? You see that all the other raisins are moving away from you. The dough between you and them is stretching. But here is the critical part. If you were to hop over to a different raisin and ask the organism living there what it sees, it would tell you the exact same thing. It would see all the other raisins moving away from it. From its perspective, it is the center. Every raisin sees itself as the center of this expansion. No single raisin is the true center. The center isn't a point in the dough. The expansion is the property of the dough itself. This is the first crack in our intuitive armor. Hubble's discovery wasn't that galaxies are flying through space away from us. It was that space itself is stretching. The galaxies are like the raisins, mostly just sitting there, while the fabric of the universe, that strange invisible dough, expands and carries them along for the ride. This is the difference between moving through space and being carried by the expansion of space. So we've taken our first step. We've let go of the idea that we're at the center. But now we've stepped into a much deeper, more unsettling question. If space itself is stretching, if this cosmic dough is expanding, then what is it expanding into? What lies beyond the crust of the cosmic loaf? Our brains are hardwired to think in terms of containers. A box contains its content. A room contains a table. The universe, we assume, must be contained within something. There must be a beyond. This is where our intuition doesn't just crack. It falls apart completely. Because when we ask, what is the universe expanding into, we are making a fundamental error. We are applying a rule of thumb that works perfectly well in our backyard, in our solar system, even in our galaxy, but fails utterly when applied to the entirety of existence. We are treating the universe like an object, and it is not an object. To understand why this question is so tricky, we have to let go of another deep-seated prejudice. We think of the universe as a collection of things floating in a vast empty void. We think of space as a passive empty stage where the drama of matter plays out. But physics, starting with Einstein, tells us something radically different. Space is not a void. It is a thing. It has property. It can be warped, twisted, stretched, and curved by matter and energy. It is not a stage. It is a flexible, dynamic fabric. And this fabric, this space, has a shape. Now, what do we mean by shape? We can't visualize the shape of the universe because we are inside it. It is like trying to draw a map of the surface of the Earth without ever leaving the ground. For centuries, humans thought the Earth was flat because that is how it looks from our local perspective. It was only when we could get outside of it to look at it from a distance that we saw its true shape, a sphere. We can't get outside the universe. We are trapped within it. So we have to deduce its shape from the inside using math and logic. Let's go back to that raisin bread analogy. But let's upgrade it. Instead of a loaf that has an edge, a crust, imagine a loaf that has no crust. In fact, forget the loaf. Let's imagine a simpler universe. Let's imagine a two-dimensional universe, a flat, infinite sheet of paper. On this paper live two-dimensional beings. They can move left, right, forward, backward, but they have no concept of up or down. To them, their entire reality is the plane of that paper. Now, let's say this paper universe expands. The distance between any 2 points increases. Our Flatlanders see their world getting bigger. If one of them was smart enough, they might ask, what is our world expanding into? But from our three-dimensional perspective, the answer is obvious. It is not expanding into anything. The paper is just getting bigger. It is still the same infinite plane. It is not expanding into the third dimension. It is just stretching within its own 2 dimensions. Now take this one step further. Instead of an infinite sheet of paper, imagine a finite one. But we have to get rid of the edge. How can you have a finite surface with no edge? Easy. Take that sheet of paper and roll it into a cylinder. Still has edges. No good. Instead, take that sheet and curl it into a sphere. Now, you have the surface of a ball. This surface is finite. If you are an ant walking on a beach ball, you have a finite amount of area to explore, but you will never ever find an edge. If you keep walking in a straight line, you'll eventually end up right back where you started. The surface of a sphere is a finite space with no boundary. Now, let's populate this sphere surface with our Flatlander beings. They are stuck on that curved surface. They don't know it is curved because they can't perceive the third dimension. The one that we're looking from, their entire reality is that 2-dimensional curved space. Now imagine that sphere inflates. It gets bigger. The surface stretches. The Flatlanders on the ball see the same thing. The raisin bread creature saw. Everything is moving away from everything else. But now let's ask our dangerous question again. What is the surface of the sphere expanding into? From our higher dimensional viewpoint, we can see it. It is expanding into the 3-dimensional space that contains the sphere. The sphere is getting bigger and the empty space around it is the into. But here is the crucial mind-bending part. For the Flatlander, that into does not exist. It is a dimension they cannot access, cannot perceive, and cannot measure. For them, the universe is expanding, but there is no outside because their reality is defined entirely by the surface they live on. The expansion is a property of their universe itself. Now take the final leap. Upgrade the Flatlander to a human being. Upgrade the two-dimensional surface to our three-dimensional space. And upgrade the three-dimensional sphere that the surface is wrapped around to a four-dimensional hypersphere. We can't visualize it. Our brains evolved to hunt and gather on the African savanna. Aren't equipped to picture a four-dimensional shape, but the math handles it perfectly. Our universe, this three-dimensional expanse we call home, could be the three-dimensional surface of a vast four-dimensional hypersphere. If that is the case, then asking what is the universe expanding into is like the Flatlander asking what his beach ball is expanding into. The answer is into a dimension you cannot comprehend, a dimension that is not part of your reality. For us, the expansion is intrinsic. It is the stretching of the fabric of our three-dimensional reality. It doesn't need an external space to grow into because the expansion is just a change in the properties of our own universe. This is one possibility. Another is that our universe is infinite. It always has been. It always will be. If something is truly infinite, it can't get any bigger. You can't add to infinity. So, what does expansion mean for an infinite universe? This is a paradox that rattles the brain. It means that the universe is getting less dense. The distances between galaxies are increasing, but the overall size of the universe, well, infinity doesn't change. Imagine an infinite number line stretching from negative infinity to positive infinity, with all the numbers spaced 1 unit apart. Now expand it so all the numbers are 2 units apart. You still have an infinite line stretching from negative infinity to positive infinity. It is the same size, infinite. But the stuff on it is more spread out. So expansion isn't about size. So when you ask what it is expanding into, the answer depends on which of these mathematical models is correct. If the universe is infinite, the question is meaningless. It is not expanding into anything because it already fills everything. It is everything. There is no outside for it to expand into. If the universe is finite but unbounded like the hypersphere, then it is expanding into a higher dimensional space we can't perceive. But even then, that higher dimensional space is not part of our universe. It is not a where we can go. The problem with the question is the word into. It implies a pre-existing emptiness, a void, a container. But space and time themselves began at the Big Bang. This is the most profound shift in perspective we have to make. The Big Bang wasn't an explosion that happened at a single point in a pre-existing empty void. The Big Bang was the sudden appearance of space and time themselves. It wasn't that everything was crushed into a tiny point in some larger space. It was that everything, all of space, all of reality was a tiny point. Imagine a book. The universe is not the words on the page, it is the page itself. The expansion is not the words moving farther apart on the page, it is the page itself getting larger. Now, what is the page expanding into? That question only makes sense if there is another page next to it, if there is a larger context. But if that page is all the pages that exist, if it is the entirety of the book, then it is not expanding into anything. It is just becoming a larger book. This leads us to a strange and lonely conclusion. We are used to being inside things. We are inside a house, inside a city, on a planet, in a solar system. We are used to the idea of layers of containment, like a set of Russian dolls. We peel back one layer and find another. We look beyond our galaxy and see other galaxies. We look beyond those and see the vast cosmic web. And our instinct is to keep going. We want to peel back the final layer. We want to find the outside. We want to open the final biggest Russian doll and see what is inside the container of everything. But what if there is no final doll? What if the dolls don't stop? Or what if when you get to the last one, you open it and find it is not hollow? What if it is solid? What if the universe is all there is? The container and the contained are one and the same. There is no outside to step into because outside is a spatial concept and space only exists within the universe. The question, what is the universe expanding into, is a beautiful question because it exposes the limits of our imagination. It shows us that our brains, so good at navigating the world of medium-sized objects, are utterly inadequate for grasping the totality of existence. We are forced to use mathematics as our telescope, not to see distant stars, but to peer into the structure of reality itself. And the math tells us that the question might just be a grammatical mistake. It is like asking, what is north of the North Pole? It sounds like a question, but it actually isn't. Once you understand what the North Pole is, you realize the question dissolves. You can't go north of the North Pole because north is defined as the direction towards it. In the same way, into is a direction defined within space. To ask what space is expanding into is to ask for a direction outside of direction. It is a concept that defies conceptuality. So we look up at the night sky and we see those galaxies rushing away from us. They're light-stretched and tired from their long journey across the expanding fabric of reality. And we know they are not fleeing from us. We know we are not the center. We know the space between us is simply growing, and we are left with the profound, humbling, and magnificent realization that we are not observers of the universe, standing outside of it, watching it unfold. We are a part of the unfolding. We are not just in the universe, we are made of the universe. The same processes that stretch the light from distant quasars also govern the bonds in the atoms of our bodies. The cosmos is not a stage we walk on. It is our larger body. And when we ask, what is it expanding into, we are really asking about our own ultimate nature. And the answer whispered back by the red-shifted light of 1 billion galaxies is simply this. It is not going into anything. It is simply becoming more of itself.